Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the JKWD podcast. We hope you're having a great day. Sorry if I'm still breathing hard after.
For me, you're not breathing hard for me. It's all
okay, good. After 6 miles out there, while on antibiotics in the heat. Kelvin, how you doing today?
Better than you. Oh man, that sounded grueling. But let the record show you don't look like you're suffering.
That's good because
you're looking radiant and full of life and so forth. I'm doing fine, thank you very much. I'm sitting here again in sunny Syracuse, sunny Liverpool, and it is sunny today.
Good.
It's a good day. I think it's going to be a lovely day, and I'm having a good time. I'm learning and making new friends and having a good life.
Excellent. How
about you? Outside of the running stuff.
We're doing all right. We spent a week in the house. The little one having 2 ear infections and an eye infection and a respiratory infection, and my wife having 2 ear infections, and so I, of course, wound up with a sinus infection because that's what you get when you hang out with 2 people with those symptoms.
Gotta have all portals covered.
Yes, all the holes in our family got infected in some way. All the all the face holes.
There you go.
All the face holes are infected.
But everybody's recovering. Is this correct?
So everybody is. They were ahead of me, so they're in better shape than I am. But I am on my way. I got the shortest.
You pick up the used germs.
I do, but I got the shortest round of antibiotics, which probably means I'm on the strongest ones.
Okay.
So I got one more day on that, which will be nice because that does all kinds of things to my insides.
Yeah.
Which we don't need to talk about here.
I'm sure. So, yes.
Yeah, we're brought to you today by Vitamin K Daily. Get your daily dose of positive from the Prince of Positive himself, Kelvin P. Ringgold Sr., that other voice you hear. Wake up Monday through Friday with a message 3:30 a.m. New York time. Tells you how awesome your day is going to be, how awesome you are. Depends on what the message is for the day. Get yourself 4 weeks free. After that, just $24.95 a year. But it winds up not being for you to cancel any time before the end of your free trial, and you won't get charged a nickel. VitaminKDaily.com. 4 weeks free. VitaminKDaily.com. Let's do the show. Podcast, where we talk about better humanhood and teach you how to dominate your world. You ready? Here we go. I feel like I sound a little subdued today. Maybe it's our earlier meeting time. Maybe it's the running. Maybe it's the antibiotic. I don't know. Maybe I just feel lower energy, and
I don't know if subdued is the thing. Okay. I'm pretty sure by the end of the podcast that guy will be gone. And Josh will be here. No, it's just kind of mellow, which is
yeah.
Normally you have this extra cerebral thing going on, and you've been thinking about this heavy duty stuff, and you're just kind of light and fluffy right now. Just
now that I'm in training for that half marathon, my long runs are going to be Fridays, which is when we meet.
Mm-hmm.
So I will, and actually we're meeting today we happen to be meeting a couple hours earlier than normal. So normally I'll have had a couple hours more recovery time. So I'm probably still just floating on my running cloud.
Could be that.
It could be. I haven't come down to reality yet.
The only drug your mom lets you use is
That's right.
Serotonin. Yeah. It's good though, because you're kind of mellow, which is nice, because seeing you like actually mellow, and come to think of it, that little runner's high, that covers it. Yeah,
it's nice.
Yeah, maybe we should do this more often and early. No, that messes up your run schedule, don't it?
Yeah, it just kicks it earlier if I have a longer go.
We'll work it out.
Yeah, but anyway, I wanted to talk about like spaces. Sacred spaces. And by sacred spaces, I don't necessarily mean places we pray. I mean, spaces that we go to do our things. And I got this idea from Eric Weinstein, who he's put his excellent podcast, The Portal, on pause because in his circles, people were kind of starting to get deplatformed, and he wanted to keep whatever he could where he could keep it. His brother's a couple of steps, or I think one step from getting banned on YouTube, and they've moved a lot of their live stuff off of YouTube and onto other platforms. And we've seen some in a shadow delisting where people have all of a sudden tweets disappear. That kind of thing, where they get way less engagement because not as many people are being shown the tweets. So maybe he was right to put it on pause. But anyway, the way he explained the portal was, as humans, to take a leap of anything, to transition, we kind of go through a portal. And if you look at fiction, Alice goes down the rabbit hole into Wonderland. She goes through the looking glass, and through the looking glass, she goes through the mirror into this other world. And the Wizard of Oz in the film version, the whole thing's in black and white until Dorothy opens the door in Oz and is led into this new Technicolor world. Technicolor was new for that movie. But everything is in black and white in her real world and in color for the other world, right? But she has to walk through the door.
Never noticed that. Man, I got to go back and watch Alice in Wonderland now.
That's right, and Wizard of Oz. Everything is through a portal, and he talked about Sagrada Familia, the Gaudi church in Barcelona that is just colors and statues and all kinds of trippy stuff. I showed Kelvin pictures before the podcast, and we'll post a link to some pictures because it's an otherworldly piece of art.
Yes, it is. It is. I had never dreamed of knowing something like that existed. So.
Yeah, and it's recent too. It's not like ancient church stuff.
Okay.
It's a 20th century piece of work, and he's done some of his other things in Barcelona. Like he's got an apartment building that doesn't have corners. Like it's all curves.
Oh
yeah, and he's done a couple of parks and all that kind of stuff. So. Yeah, very, very interesting work, but it's all, again, it's all kind of through a portal. You have to go into his world to see it.
Interesting.
But we have portals in our everyday lives too. Like I know in your life, for instance, that you have a room where you go to write vitamin K and to do the other things that you do. You actually walk through a door to get to that room. And when you're in that room, that's where you do those things. And when you leave that room, that's where you do something else.
True.
And that when you're meditating, and I don't know if you're meditating right now, but you have a specific chair.
I do.
That you like to go to. And while there's not actually an entryway into that chair is its own sacred space. I have the same thing. I have a chair that I prefer to do my meditation on.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a room where I come to write. And, I also have my kitchen, which I consider a sacred space. When I'm not running, my other stress relief is I like to just cut things up and cook and combine flavors. I walk into my kitchen to do that, and I'm in my little circle. I've got a nice bunch of counter space, and I tend to use all of it or much of it.
That's a lot of counter space.
Yeah, it is. But if I got to put some stuff over here, and I got to put some spices over there, and I do my cutting over here, and I got the stove over there. So, yeah, I think about just the little spaces. Do you have other spaces that?
I do actually. I do have my photography studio downstairs. I haven't been giving it much use recently, except as a portal to get through to get to the laundry room. But yeah, that is a space, and that is specifically for photography. So yeah, I do have that, and I don't do much in the way of cooking, but
you do sometimes.
I do cook sometimes,
but that's not. I mean,
but when I
just because that's not your thing doesn't mean it's not a. You have other things.
I mean, I cook because I like to cook, but since it's just me, when I when I go to eat the food I cooked, I normally go sit in my meditation chair. So it's kind of a
interesting
experience there. Yeah, that's just because it's just me. So like, why sit at this naked table in the middle of the kitchen when I can be really, really comfortable in my other chair? And that's I consider that actually to be my energy room.
Okay.
So when a
room. Okay. So
yeah,
I mean, you have to walk through that. You have to cross.
Yeah. My we want to call it a family room for photography. My client work is on the
right.
walls for my advertising. So that's my energy room. When I do Reiki, I'm in that room. When I meditate, I'm in that room, and in that chair specifically because that's where I feel the energy is in the house. And I've had some other people come over who were, spiritually inclined, energetic people, and they're like, the energy in this room is like really, really good. I don't know how it got to be that way, but it is that way. So that is my energy space as far as.
That also has the biggest kind of.
Yes, it's got a huge door window.
Yeah, it has the most natural light in your house too.
Right.
Yeah.
And actually it's south light, but it actually looks out onto outside. So I guess that would be it too. That's my for there. That's where the light comes from in my house, and the trees, and I can watch the squirrels and stuff like that. So yeah. And I have at least one crystal in there, but I'm not sure why. Yeah, so that is my space, and that is when I go to relax. That is where I go, and that is where I breathe and recharge. That is.
Yeah, and again, you have to cross a threshold to get in there. So
correct.
You're walking through a portal.
Good point.
Yeah.
I may have to actually put a sign up that says the portal. Just for grins. Nah. Yeah. That's not go crazy. But yeah.
No, but now you're going to start noticing it.
Yes, I will start noticing.
Yeah.
And the studio is even different because I actually have to go down the staircase and get into that space. And that was that used to be a combination space, but now that space is strictly photography. So
that's right. You used to
have portals. Yeah.
You used to have your office down there, right? And then you moved to the second floor.
I separated those two. So nice. Thanks. Now you let me know that I'm a time and space traveler.
Yeah. Well, we talk about time travel on the podcast all the time because we're recording this, a week and a half ago. from when it was released. And who knows, somebody might be listening to this in 2 years. So
we do that. So now that we have these portals, what are you, how are you looking at that as far as, and did you consciously recognize this before you ran across this fellow's conversation?
No. I totally didn't. And I ran across this a couple of years ago when he started it. So, this isn't something that is new in my consciousness, but for whatever reason, I was thinking about it recently. Maybe just because I've reread Alice in Wonderland recently, and I'm reading another book in the Cemetery of Forgotten Books series, and that's another portal. Even if another fictional one. There's in Carlos Ruiz Zafon's Barcelona, he's got this kind of ancient door that when you open it, you're in this labyrinth of books that people have come to store and save.
Right.
And it's just transported to a different place. And it seems like all time kind of pauses and goes somewhere else for a little bit.
So now that we've uncovered this portal project, how do we use that intentionally to make our lives better?
I think it's a matter of noticing. Because now when you step into your energy room, you're going to notice not when you've sat down, but when you've crossed the threshold, I think. I might be wrong on that, but I think you'll notice. And I think you're probably already in mode when you step into your office, because when you step into the doorway, you can see your desk.
Oh yeah. And I have a setup in here which is very much deliberate, mostly because of the furniture I have in here. But just the way it's set up. So, but I haven't. Now that you bring that up, and recognizing it for the purpose you just said, I can actually do a whole other mental thing for when I come to and sit down at my desk.
Yeah.
And
that mental thing will start at the door instead of in your chair.
Yeah. That gives me some thought there, because there's some things I can do with that mentally, psychologically, that would probably help me as far as purpose. When I do something, if I recognize, like when I sit in my meditation chair, I recognize why I'm sitting in my, but I hadn't had the same thought process about when I step into my office and declare this space. This is my. I spend a lot of time in my office. Too much probably, but that is, yeah. So now I'm gonna have to do some deliberate things here to fine tune this puppy. And
we talked about intention a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
On the podcast, and I think this gives us another dimension to that.
I think you're right. Might be a good idea, since it's my portal, to neaten it up a little bit too. Something about a sense of order, because I can be a mess, and unlike you, because I've been to your spaces, and your space is like pristine and orderly, and
it is on and off. It gets unruly here and there. And I can tell in my brain when my space is unruly is I need to when my space is unruly, I'm not performing mentally at my best.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I need to clean this up. And typically when I do is when I get productive again.
Yeah. So I do remember when you were here, I had your wife come over to help orderly up what a job she had. I imagine after she left my place, she used to come home to you and just start drinking because Kelvin's place was such a disaster. Make me put my notes up for clean this now, straighten this up before you leave. And it did help. So for the mental thing, because I guess it helps me not the whole organization thing. So I'm not inadvertently processing things I'm not intending to process, which is a whole other conversation.
That too.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are we going to do with all this now? We're going to go dominate our world.
Yeah.
Because we know
we're going to do it with intention.
Man, I'm going to have to do a whole podcast podcast. That's a novel concept on order and dimension. All right.
Well, there
Thanks
you go.
For this talk.
So I think this was shorter than we've been lately, but I think we got places with it.
We did.
So thank you for being here. Thanks everybody for listening. VitaminKDaily.com. Get yourself 4 weeks free. JKWDpodcast.com for show notes for this and all our other episodes. We will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for listening. Show notes and more at jkwdpodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your friends, and we will see you next week. Bye. A Better Humanhood production.